Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Rays Rewind with Bell, Bushman, and Drew.
Jansen. That is into center field. Here comes Kiermaier. Phillips has tied the game. Arose Arena coming around. Throw home. Now he stumbles. But the ball gets away. Tampa Bay wins it. Brett Phillips, Game 4 hero.
The sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast. It's gonna be sick.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Rays Rewind podcast, the sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast on the Sick Podcast Network. What's up, everybody? It's been a long time since we've seen you, and so much has changed in the past couple of weeks. But before we get into that, make sure to go to our YouTube page at the Sick Podcast Rays Rewind and subscribe to our Instagram page at Rays Rewind Pod. Welcome back in. Drew, what's going on? It's been so long, and now the Rays have pulled us back in because now they're only 2 games back from the third wild card spot and are playing fantastic baseball. They've won 7 straight. What is going on? I thought it was out, but then they bring me back in like Marco Corleone in Godfather Part 3.
I was
checked out. I was done. And now,
I was watching, but I mean, when, like, I think I mentioned this on the last podcast, when Jose Caballero's second home run went over the wall when he was on the Yankees against the Rays that one night where they hit, I think, like 1 million home runs. I was like, all right, this is it. This is over.
It was the 9 home run game.
I was no longer, pining for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
And was transitioning to, all right, let me watch Junior try and get to 40, which he's done. And, maybe they'll call up some guys from Durham, which they have. And, it was fun. It's fun to watch. Carson's debut there gave me a little bit of life. I was excited about that. And I also thought too, like the Cleveland series last week on the road, when they lost those, was it the last 2 games they lost?
Yeah.
They lost the third game in that kind of fashion where they really just gave it away. You're like, all right, never mind. Glimmer of hope. And then, but yeah, man, it's just crazy.
I was done after that Yankee game. After the 9 home run game, I was like, it's curtains. I'm going to focus on football. I've got fantasy football drafts coming up. I'll check in once in a while, and and I'll pay attention if Junior's going to go hit 40, which he did, and if he's going to hit more, maybe he'll hit 50 by the end of the year, which would be cool to watch.
Right.
But now this is like a totally different team. And we've talked about this before is, look, if they can catch fire at the right time, and the right time is the end of the season, things could be interesting down the stretch because now they were 7 games back. So ultimately they've gained 5 games in the past week and a half or so. So
I think so.
And they're playing great baseball, man.
Doing it different ways too.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think it's
a lot like what we were seeing in May and June.
Yeah. And I think it's because I switched from YouTube TV to Fubo. And I think that's the reason. Ever since I switched from YouTube TV to Fubo.
Think so?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Because Fubo TV includes FanDuel.
Oh.
So,
I'm sure it's cheaper too. Is it cheaper?
Yeah, it's right around. Yeah. Bundled everything with ESPN Unlimited and then also the NFL Network. Yeah, it's way cheaper.
That's not too bad.
So yeah.
Yeah, man. It's almost like as soon as I find, and I feel like I was one of the last people to really be out on the playoffs. Just based on talking to you, based on what you see online and what people are writing in the the writers in the Tampa Bay Times and the articles on the fan sites and stuff, and felt like I was one of the last ones out on the playoffs. But then it's like as soon as I said, okay, oh well, focusing on other things with the team, that's when they turned it around. So clearly they just needed to lose me in the process. to give them the motivation to turn it around. And then on top of that, your Fubo
Fubo
TV
TV.
switch is
Yeah.
Fubo. Yeah, excuse me. Is I mean, that
It,
was
al-
just like the final nail in the coffin. They're like, this is serious. We gotta go.
it also
Um,
seems like too, like the nail, like they've exercised the demons too, because now I didn't even know Ha-Sung Kim went on waivers until that notification I got. Like, when did they put him on waivers? And then he's over in Atlanta now, and now it's Carson Williams' job pretty much going forward because Ha-Sung Kim is done. They don't have to worry about that money anymore, and I was surprised they
Mhm.
did that. So they're exercising like the demons. They're exercising the players that weren't doing well, that were injured. Look, if this is a run of all runs to make it to the wild card spot, look, I'm happy that they're playing better baseball. If they don't make it, it'll be disappointing. But if they don't make it, but they're playing like this all the way down to the last day, I'm more happy that they're doing that than playing what they were playing like a couple of weeks ago. If they were continuing to play like that, where they're not competitive at all, they were playing like crap, and you end the season on that note, I'd be like, stuff needs to change. They did so bad the second half, but now it's just a double switch. It's like, hey, they're playing competitive baseball. They're making things interesting, and they tried to make a run for it, which they look. We don't know how we have the whole month of September to see if they're going to make a run for this. There are only two out of it now. I think out of all the schedules coming up with them, the Mariners and the Royals, to me, I think they have one of the easiest schedules going down the stretch, except for that spot where they're playing Toronto and Boston back to back for those series.
Yeah, they
So
play well. So a couple things. I've got no proof other than the team record, but sneaky theory on my part. Hassan Kim was weighing this team down
I would agree with
because
you.
I mean, not really, but when he came back, when did he come back? What series was that? It was July 4th,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they had just lost. They had, that's when I believe they had that series. They had just come off the Royals sweep, and then they had the series lost against the Orioles in Camden, and then the series lost to the Athletics in Tampa, and then they went to Minnesota for the 4th of July, and that was his first game. And do you want to know what the Rays record was between July 4th and August 18th, which is the last game he played for the Rays?
What was the record?
13-19.
That is terrible.
Okay, they were 6-16 in July, from July 4th to the 31st, and then 7-3 from the 1st to the 18th. So 13-19. Do you want to know what the record's been since August 19th through yesterday?
It's definitely a lot better now.
It's 10-6. 10-6.
Exercise the demons.
They haven't lost since he was put on waivers. So,
look, nothing against
oh
HSK.
yeah. I
Nothing
mean,
against
I'm honestly just kidding, but
yeah.
it's just one of the. I mean, I remember thinking that before because they had that huge slide to in the first half, and it was like right when he came back, and I was like,
Mhm. What's
that
kind of
was it,
funny is
man.
as soon as he
We
gets over
we
to
added
Atlanta,
him in.
as soon as he gets over to Atlanta, he homers a 3-run shot against the
Yeah,
Cubs.
they
Which is
just,
kind of
I think it's just one of those things, and I thought they had some great quotes in the Tampa Bay Times about it, just being like one of those. I think it was a move that they felt good about. I think no one's going to fault them for making that move because he is worth more than what they gave him. But you're kind of getting a discount because of the injury coming into the season.
Yep.
But for whatever reason, it just didn't work out. And just one of those could never get it going. I think all those other injuries, the random back tightness and calf issue or whatever, like it just. I think it was smart on their part to just say, you know what, we're going to see what we can get for him or see if we can get somebody else to take him, and then just see what you got with Carson. Taylor's out now for the rest of the season. That just was announced yesterday. So, like, as a fan, I'm pumped that they're like, we're just going to give Carson the runway here,
yeah,
for
because
the
him
last
and
month.
Tristan Gray are kind of splitting the duties now, but Carson's
Yeah,
getting
I
this
mean, I think,
start.
yeah, I would say Carson's going to start most of the
Yeah.
games, but I think they're going to pick their spots with Tristan. Like they pinched hit Tristan or for Carson with Tristan the other day, and I think in a key spot against the Mariners because they had brought in a righty pitcher out of the bullpen, and so I think you'll see that. And Tristan's been okay. I mean, he's hit the ball a little bit better, but yeah, I mean, the Ha-Seong Kim thing. I mean, yeah, it was, I guess, a mistake. In hindsight, it didn't work out, but
I mean,
I'm
hey,
not
look,
I'm
he's
not going
off
to look
the
at that as like a.
he's off the
And
payroll now.
off the
Yeah, you
payroll,
have to spend
and
money.
that can only mean good things. I think
That
it makes
means to
things a little
me is like
simpler
we're
next
gonna
year.
save a little bit more money, and then so from allegedly from sources that I
Mhm.
have, the sale will probably be finalized in the next couple of weeks. There is a date, which I will not reveal, but it is in the next couple of weeks. So whatever happens after that, we'll see. But I think going forward, I mean, that also says, look, there could be a large extension for Junior Caminero coming soon. They'll probably pick
Not
up the option for Brandon Lau,
not Taylor
extend him out.
Walls.
Well, no,
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. I mean, that's where my mind went is. I
yeah,
mean, if the
even
Rays,
Yandy Diaz too, even Yandy.
yeah, I'm hoping that Carson can show a bit here in the next few weeks and end the season on a really high note, and maybe get into the playoffs and perform, because then I would love to see. My dream would be that they sign both Junior and Carson.
Mm,
Obviously, Junior commanding a lot more money, but like you could sign Carson to a really team friendly deal.
yep.
And I think that would be equally as exciting to me as them going out and getting some, you know, second tier outfielder free agent, or they can still go out and do something like that too for the next couple of years. I don't know, but um, yeah, I think the fact they don't have to make that decision. I think had Hassan Kim picked up his option, I think you could have seen him potentially um traded anyway. But I'm just
Yep.
glad that now Carson, it's his opportunity if he takes it,
Yeah.
if he plays
It's
it,
his
and
job to
that's
lose. It's his
yeah, and
job
that's
to
and
lose.
that's and that's exciting. And Taylor's going to be there next year. Like I really don't foresee them getting rid of Taylor. He's like $2 million, and he's just so valuable defensively. And I he's been the best shortstop that the Rays have had all season. And which I know as the bar wasn't super high, but he was, I think, a valuable player for the team this year, whether fans like it or not. And he'll be around next year. And maybe frustratingly so for fans. Maybe it's a situation where they send Carson to AAA to start the year and still go with Taylor at the beginning. But yeah, I like how the roster's kind of shaking out. I love that they're making this run with guys like Bob Seymour
Mm-hmm.
playing. They don't have a Ronda. I think this only increases the potential that we could see a Ronda before the end of the year. I think before, with the team kind of being out of it, I think it would have been probably expected that they just say, there's no need in rushing you back for the last week or two,
Yep.
with the team out of it. But now that they're, hey, adding, and that might mean a guy like Bob Seymour goes down, but
Well, this
I
also
don't know.
goes to show you
I
too,
love that the
Drew.
current roster construction a little bit.
Drew, this also shows like, hey, this is like a sample size of next year and the years to come with the young guys that are up here, like producing right away as
Right.
well. Like if they make the playoffs or not, that this is like a sample size of going forward for the next few years with the young core that they have coming up now. And that's exciting to see now that, hey, we've brought up the guys that are going to be the cornerstones and future of this team. And they're already like making an impact already, which
Right.
the impact is we're in striking distance of that third wild card spot, which
Yep.
is phenomenal.
And
So
there's no pressure.
and also,
I mean, there's no pressure on them. That's the
what
best
also
part.
goes to show you too, we know nothing. And the
Yeah.
Rays front office knows everything.
They're in such a great spot because I mean, they obviously have the pressure. They gotta win to stay in it. Like it's still on them to perform. But
Right.
I mean, Seattle's the team that's feeling all the pressure right now. I don't really think about the Rangers and Royals a whole lot. And I probably should. I mean, it's not that they're obviously tied or ahead of the Rays at the moment, but I just feel like the Mariners have all the pressure. The Rangers don't have their best hitter or best pitcher anymore. The Royals, I don't know.
Right
They
now, we're
just put
tied with the
Lugo on
Royals.
the
Right now,
they just put Lugo on the IL. They don't
right
have
now, we're tied with
Reagans.
them.
Like, yeah, we're tied.
We're
And
tied.
it's weird. I don't know how the tiebreakers are going to work. It's so funny to me because they and I remember we talked about this too, like looking ahead, but like the Royals, Rangers, and Mariners, the Rays got swept by each team and then proceeded to sweep the team the second time that they saw them. So there's the tiebreaker.
There's no real tiebreaker for that.
Well, there is. It's a little bit here. I'm just gonna look this up in real time.
Flip of the coin. While you're doing that, I have my concerns going forward with Pete. Pete's given up 6 home runs in the past 16 innings, where before that he'd only given up a couple. I don't know if it's fatigue. I don't know if he's getting the yips now, but I'm concerned if this is our closer. Granted, if we go into the playoffs, if this is our guy, I'm really concerned. And look, Baker's been playing. He's been pitching well. Griffin Jacks too as well. I just, if they're going to go into the playoffs, I would love to maybe see them get into the mix where they have kind of like a closer by committee instead of having just relying on Pete. I don't trust Pete right now. I don't. Just the way he's pitching and giving up home runs like that. It's like inexcusable when you're going in to close a game. Look, I know you've got a buffer of a lead, but you still shouldn't be doing that at all. So my concern is Pete going forward. If they happen to get that third wild card spot.
Right.
That's my concern about him.
Real quick on the tiebreaker. So unfortunately, the second tiebreaker is intra-division record. So regardless if they're in the same division or not, the tie for a wild card spot, if the head-to-head record's the same, is the intra-division. So their own record, the record within their own division will break the tie. And sadly, the Rays record against the AL East is 16-23. The Royals record is 1 game over 500 against the Central. The Rangers are 500, 23 and 23 against the West, and the Mariners are 9 games over 500. So basically zero chance that they would win any of the tiebreakers against the other teams. So they would have to finish ahead of each team outright.
Okay.
Unless somehow, I don't even know if they have, how many divisional games do we have left? I mean, they would have to go on a
1, 2,
division
3,
of the
4,
AL East
5,
teams.
6, 7, 8.
They have what, 3
Looks like
series
10.
left, one against.
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The last 13 games are against division opponents. It's the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, the Orioles, and then the Blue Jays in the year.
So they would have to win 10 to 11 of those just to have a chance against maybe. I mean, it would take a big time collapse for the Mariners, and but just to have a chance against the Rangers, the Royals, and the tiebreaker. It could happen. And I think it could definitely happen, but they're behind the 8 ball with the tiebreaker, so their goal needs to be just to actually get ahead of each team, and they're on their way. Like, I mean, I don't think there's. I will say I think this Guardians team they match up well with. I know they lost 2 of 3 in Cleveland. They gave that last one away, so say what you will, but they don't really have dominant starting pitching. They've already taken care of one left-hander. They've got decent matchups here tomorrow and Saturday with Gavin and Bibby or Bibby. And so with the way the pitching staff's pitching,
bullpen days today, Griffin Jacks is going to be the opener, and then Ian Seymour is going to be doing the bulk. Yep.
Yeah, which I kind of like that. I mean,
I do too.
If it blows up in your face, and Jax goes out there and gives up some runs, and you're like, we should have just gone with Seymour. He's just been so good as a starter. But I kind of like that they're switching it up a little bit, considering Seymour just pitched against the Guardians last week and did really well, to his credit. But I do like that they're switching it up some. But yeah, the team, I mean, they're just firing on all cylinders. Is a lot like what we saw earlier in the year. They're pitching well. The bullpen's been great for the most part. They're hitting home runs. They're timely hits. Like, they're not making mistakes in the field. And yeah, I mean, I agree. Pete's been a little concerning. It just doesn't seem sharp. It feels like every count's a full count or extended at bat, or he's given up the long ball a little bit more frequently now. And I mean, and Griffin Jacks, to be honest, isn't really inspiring a ton of confidence either. So the back end is definitely concerning. But I go back to they are not supposed to be in this position. I
Right.
think, given how they played for the last couple months, and I don't feel like they're a team that's feeling a lot of pressure right now, externally, because
You know what?
we
I think
weren't
that's
supposed to be
probably
here.
I think that's probably why it has to do with why they're playing so well is, everybody counted us out. So we
Mhm.
can just kind of go in and out and play
I mean,
baseball and maybe shock the world. I
if
see. I
they
like that. I like that attitude because if everybody
yeah.
really counted them out a couple weeks ago, which a lot of people did, including myself, then shock the world, man. Go in and just play baseball and play good baseball and play spoiler to a lot of the other teams that are in the hunt that right now are not playing as well as they should. And the Rays are
Mhm.
playing well above what they have been playing. And, if you're catching fire at the right time, and I always say catch fire at the right time. And look, if the right time is almost at the end of the season where you can make a run for it, good. I'd rather have them catch fire again like they did, a couple months ago, play like they did
Mhm.
in that span, and then do it now at the end of the month where you can make a run for it and make the playoffs. I'm
Yeah.
okay with that because then you become the hottest team in the league going into the playoffs if you make the playoffs, and that's more on your side because you don't want to play a dangerous team that was counted out before and now there could be a potential like scary team to play in the playoffs. I'd rather have
Right.
I'd rather have them be that team than the 100-win team that we saw a couple of years ago, which got kicked out in the wild card series in 2 games. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, there would be, and we talk about no pressure. There would be no expectation for them in the
Hashtag no
playoffs.
pressure.
Yeah, there would be no expectations for them in the playoffs to do anything, right? Like if they sneak into the wild card,
See, that to me
no.
is more dangerous having that. That is
Oh yeah,
no
well
pressure.
yeah,
That to
and
me is more dangerous than anything.
I mean that's where we've seen, and it's not a guarantee, of course, but that's
Right.
where we've seen teams like the Rangers in 23, and the Diamondbacks that same year, like
Yep.
the teams that just sneak in or just end up being, right there at the end of the wild card, and not that people are just saying they have no shot, but they're just not expected to even win their first series, let alone advance in the playoffs, and they just catch fire and get to a World Series or make a deep playoff run. I mean, I remember the Rangers that year. I think they were. It wasn't that they snuck into the playoffs. I think it was that the division was coming down to the very end with the Astros, and they lost. They had it all season, and they lost it at the end. And so here they are. And I remember they were in Seattle, and they had to fly from Seattle to Tampa to play the Rays in the wild card after basically blowing the division in the last weekend of the season. And you're thinking like, oh man, there's no way they're going to come in here and win. And I mean, after the trajectory they were on and where they ended up, and just the disappointment of that, and they went and you know took care of the Rays and Orioles and the Astros, I think, right? Like they went on that huge run and obviously won the series. So, I mean, it's anything's possible. That's the thing, is
Yeah.
like if they sneak in. I mean, right now, if it ended today and they snuck into the playoffs, they would play the Astros.
Oof.
Um, honestly, I mean, the Astros are 3 to 4 games back. They're 4 games back of the Tigers and 4.5 games back of the Blue Jays. So, I mean, you would play as the third wild card. You're going to play the divisional winner that doesn't have a bye.
Right.
So you would, the third divisional winner. So right now that'd be the Astros, and no one would expect them to do anything. But they've actually got a winning record against the Astros this year.
Yeah.
So it's just that would be great. Like it would honestly, I'm sure in the moment we would be like, as fans, we would be sweating our butt off, like just nervous, anxious. It's playoff baseball. Every pitch feels like, so important. But yeah, you're right. Like it's so much, it would be such a different feeling than it, like they would just be playing with house money
Right.
from the jump.
It would
Than
also be
like
funny
in
too
2023 when it was.
having playoff baseball at the Big Stein when Major League Baseball didn't want that to happen too.
Yeah, well, it's funny because like as soon as that conversation started nationally,
Mhm.
it was like that was when things started tanking.
That's when things started to tank. So wouldn't it be just the ultimate like FU?
They'd have to get through the first
Baseball?
series,
Right? But like it'd be the ultimate FU middle finger to Major League Baseball, saying, "Well, you didn't want this, but now it's happening right now.
Yeah.
So deal with it."
Yeah, I mean, it would be great because it just, like I said, it would be like, man, I don't even care if they don't win a game in the playoffs. Yeah, that would suck, but at the same time, like they weren't supposed to be here. The fact that they got, like, I would be so excited for the team going into next year.
Yeah.
You know, that would be such a huge momentum boost for, I think, 2026 and going back to the Trop and stuff. So they've got, I expect them to win this series against Cleveland. I'm selfishly hoping for a sweep, which is such a tall order with 4 games, but then they go to Chicago for the Chicago tour of the White Sox and Cubs, and the pitching matchups aren't kind to them against the Cubs. They got to face, I think, Matthew Boyd and Amanga. I might be butchering his last name, which are 2 lefties, and the White Sox always give them trouble. And they're like, talk about no pressure. They're like a bunch of young kids that are playing, that are hitting really well. And Curtis Mead's probably going to do some damage because, of course, he would. But yeah, like, I don't know. It's just they're putting themselves in a great position. It's fun to watch them right now. There wasn't a lot of fun about their games. And now we've got not only Junior crushing the ball and setting records potentially, but Carson's up playing every day. And, I'm not expecting him to be, hitting the ground running, but I think he's done as well or better than what most people probably thought he would do. And like, the team's just playing great baseball, and it's a lot of fun to watch. And that's all we want.
That's all we want. Yep. That's all we want. Yeah. And that's why I'm hoping like this continues too. Like, if they don't make it, that's okay. But they played well the rest of the way going into it, because nobody thought they'd be around to be able to stick around like this, because now they're sticking around. So, but yeah, I think it's going to be the next couple of weeks are going to be wild. They're going to be interesting, especially with the Rays playing like they are playing. So hopefully they can continue everything going forward, and we'll see how it goes. But either way, the team is playing exciting baseball right now. So everybody, keep your eyes on the team, because this is the kind of the most exciting and nail-biting time of the year is September, going into the playoffs, to see who's going to make a run and get in there and squeak in. So we'll see. So we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Rays Rewind podcast, the sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast on the Sick Podcast Network. Subscribe to our YouTube page at the Sick Podcast Rays Rewind, and also on Instagram at Rays Rewind Pod. For myself and Drew, we'll see you guys later on another episode of the Rays Rewind podcast. Peace.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Rays Rewind with Bushman and Drew on YouTube, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.